Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Mank Buses Goes Miniature. In this episode I've got a few reviews to do. I'm going to be doing them all as separate videos, so you are going to have a bit of an influx of videos briefly. The first one is just while I wait for the soldering iron to warm up because I've got a little bit of track to repair. But we can start off at first with the Signa-trax handheld driver handset. Now I've got this because it's going to be easier for my daughter to operate than the touchscreen of the Signa-trax. Now this costs around £30 for the 2-meter cable version. So it's come in a box like that. I can tell you the price of it now. Actually, there's an invoice in it. £39.95, £44 including delivery. So inside here we have the controller, which is your more typical knob. It was quite cheaply built, to be fair, this actually. Forward and reverse, 4 functions, and you stop. I'm presuming it comes with they do a radio version of this because it has got markings for radio on. This is part number, by the way, BHS1204. So this works simply by plugging into the Signa-trax controller here, which is the touchscreen version. You also get a 2-meter cable, although longer can be made available. Now this looks to me to be quite simple, sort of like phone line cable, but direct end-to-end straight thing. So that's all that's in the box. Don't need instructions for this. So let's take that off. So I thought a 2-meter cable, I could have got shorter, but a 2-meter cable gives me the chance to be able to move around the loft, because this area here is going to be built in at some point. So plug that into slot A. There we go. I'm going to get the USB module for this as well at some point. So that's in slot A, and then I believe we get the controller with the port on the bottom. Plug that in like that. That gives us control, and then I believe it's 409 that's got control. So in the controller, if we go to next, so this is already supposedly been allocated out. Handset drive, local A, 409. Okay, enter. So it's taken over. What I'm wondering is, do we have to restart the controller? Let's just try and restart the controller and see if that brings anything up. So we're back on, that's allocated. Oh, that's interesting, that doesn't work. We are in handset A, aren't we? Yes, we are. System setup, let's have a look in here. There's nothing in there. Just try unplugging. That only goes in one way, so we plug back in. Okay, let me try. It knows it's there. Do we have to go into panel drive? help. Handset drive. That just doesn't listen to it. Press OK to take over. There we go. So it's your more traditional knob. It's going to shout at me now. Yeah, so it's your more traditional knob control that you'd be used to. We just want to move some of these forward. Because I need a few of them. So that's your more traditional. You've got function 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So they're your main ones. So if I go into that one, so I can start it up. So you've got your standard controls on there. So yeah, pretty happy with it. It is built down to a price. I mean, that I didn't even try then really, and it's just opened up. So I do think the build quality could be better. It is quite flimsy compared to the actual controller, which seems very well built. Although we'll discover that when I get the USB sockets for it, because I'm going to put that in so I can put on JMRI or whatever it's called, software to control the trains as we move forward. Yeah, it seems the controller's built really well. For those following, this is the AEC controller. This is the early one that still goes on eBay for about 300 quid, and I picked this up for about 100 quid. So that was a very good purchase. I did miss my rotary knob though, which this gives for the £40. You can find it a bit cheaper elsewhere, and now really looking at it, I don't think there's really much in it that would actually stop you from, unless there's like a chip on the other side, which I imagine there will be, because there's only 4 connections through, I think. It's something that you could possibly build yourself. I mean, with what's there, I can take it apart. If you want to see it taken apart, then we can look at that. But this, for reference, is version 3.1 of the driver board. But essentially, if it's something that could be built myself, I could build it into the control board to have all A, B, C and D all on here. It's something that we can look into, but yeah, it could be built a bit better, I think. That's just my honest opinion. Again, it could just be this one. I have only ordered one. But to be fair, if something goes wrong with it, it's easy to get into and possibly easy to maintain. Like I say, they obviously do a radio state version of it, and that there, because there is room for like LEDs up at the top here that haven't been put through. So imagine they do a few versions of this board. To get this knob off, it would just be the grub screw there, which would bring that off. So yeah, other than that, it's nice to have a rotary knob back. But like I say, the actual case could do with being a bit better. Maybe a screw or two in the back, because if you drop this, I think that's just going to break open. It's not very strong for something that is going to be in your hand and possibly dropped. Not saying that you should drop them or anything like that, but accidents happen, and yeah, I think that is something that would need to be looked into. But saying that, with this and how this is built, there's nothing stopping someone that's competent from putting this into like a metal frame or even mounting it to a desk, something like that, because all you'd need is your options through there and then your own sort of like printed sticker to go over the top. So yeah, bit disappointed for £40 delivered. Like I say, the actual thing was $39.95 or whatever it was. I would have expected for that price a little bit better built. I mean, you can hear it when I do that. But other than that, it's nice to have my rotary knob back, and it will enable me to drive, I believe, if I do that, yeah, 2 locos at once, nice and easily, without the board, without having to switch between these, which on this layout will be brilliant. If I can, I might have a play and see if I can do one myself, and then that would give me three easy options, although I'd prefer to have just 3 knobs for A, B and C. This layout realistically isn't going to have many trains on it, so you know, having 4 options, plus once I have the USB fitted onto this, I'll have that as well to help control. So other than that, good product. The Signa-trax range is very good, just maybe a little bit better build quality.
Little trains in a big world, moving slow, chugging through valleys where no